we have something like 17 times 6, 8 times b cubed times a. All right, what do we do first? There is no addition, no subtraction. There is only multiplication. Right? So we are going to separate the numbers, separate the letters. So 17 times 6, right? Because we have 17 and 6 and there is no other number. So 17 times 6 we copy down. Multiplied by all the letters. What are the letters? Letters are A, B cubed and A. All of them together we can copy down. A dot B cubed dot A. Right? So here 17 times 6 is 102. So, oops, I did not underline. Yes, I underline it. And then multiplied by, now time to multiply the alphabets, the letters. Now A is how many times? Now here I can use the colors. Separate the A's with another color. Right? A is 2 times, so it becomes A squared, right? Dot, and B is how many times? B is already cubed, so B is cubed. There's one B here. So B cubed. That's all you have to do. Now, of course, this answer is incomplete. You have to join all of them. 102 A squared B cubed is your answer. Isn't that simple? Yeah? Once you understand the concept of what do you do when you add and subtract and what do you do when you multiply. In multiplication, you just separate the numbers and separate the letters and multiply the letters and square them or cube them and just put the powers as many times as the letters are being multiplied. All right? And then at the end you join them. Now if we come on to something like this. 12x divided by 2x, right? The best way to write this is 12x divided by as a fraction line, okay? The division sign is then replaced by a fraction line, 2x. This is the best way of writing it so that we can do the cancelling and the reducing easily. All right? Over here, again we have the numbers on one side and letters on one side. This is already there. So we do not need to rearrange. We are going to reduce the numbers. Divide by 2, 2 ones are, 2 6 are. And what happens to the x's? They are also cancelled out. X to the power 1, x to the power 1. They are also cancelled out. So what is left behind? 6. All right. In multiplication, the powers are added up, right? A square dot b cube, they are joined. A and A, they are squared. 1a times 1a. So the powers add up, right? The powers add up. A1 becomes A2, right? And this is b cubed alone. So in multiplication, the powers add up, and in divisions, they cancel out. All right? Let's do a few more sums on division. For example, if we have a 18 C4 D squared divided by 20 C cubed D cubed. All right. Now again, the first thing to do is to replace this division sign with a fraction line. D squared. This comes first. All right. This over this. Okay. Do not change the order here. All right. It's like The first dot is for the first number, the second dot is for the second number. Just a way to remember this. Okay. So C3, D3. Okay, now again here we have the numbers on one side, so we don't have to do anything and the letters on one side. Okay, so here first of all what we are going to do is we are going to reduce it. 2 9s are 2 10s are. Okay, this becomes 9 over 10. First we deal with the numbers. Right, now we are going to deal with the letters. Now what happens here is, this is C4. We are going to split up the letters. C is how many times? 4 times. C dot C dot C dot C. C is 4 times because C times C times C times C is C to the power 4, right? Dot D dot D. We are going to split up in division so that it's easier for us to cancel out the letters. C dot C dot C, because C multiplied by C is C to the power cube, dot D multiplied by D multiplied by D. This is actually what it means, right? So now since we reduced the numbers, now it's time to reduce the letters. One C cancels out with one C, the other C cancels out with the other C, the third C cancels out with the third C, top bottom, right? And what is left? One C is left. So you circle it. Remember to circle it, otherwise it will get lost somewhere. All right, and you'll miss it out. Time for the D. One D with one D, one D with one D. Now there's a D left here, right? So on the top we have a C, at the bottom we have a D. So at the top we have 9C, at the bottom we have 10D. So it becomes equals to 9C over 10D. All right, so in multiplication the powers are added up. All right, A1 becomes A2, right? But in division the powers are cancelled out. All right, they are cancelled out. Now there's an easier way to do this, but that will come on later, but this is just to explain to you what is actually happening over here. All right, so this is 9C over 10D. In division you are going to split up the letters and then do the cancelling. Deal with the numbers first, then deal with the letters. Okay. (15b squared c squared divided by bc). First thing, replace the division sign with the fraction line, right? First thing is this. First number you write on top, divided by bc. Okay. Now time to solve the numbers. There is no other number, so 15 remains as it is. Now what do you do in division? How do you cancel out? You cannot cancel out here. Now actually what is happening here is, it's b squared, right? So you put a multiplication, b dot b. This is what it means. Dot c over, with a scale, BC, right? Now time to cancel out the letters, because there was nothing to reduce in numbers. Now we are going to reduce the letters, in other words. 1B with 1B cancels out, top bottom, 1B is left. 1C with 1C cancels out, 1C is left. So at the top you have 15BC. 15BC. You remove the multiplication sign, right? You can also write it down as 15B directly. 15B means multiplication. So you can also write it in this way and then join them all, and there's nothing left at the bottom means it's a 1, so it remains the same, right? So in the division we are going to first replace the division sign with the fraction line, reduce the numbers and then split up the letters so that it's easy to reduce the letters. Now for example, if we have something like this, like I told you, let's put a multiplication and show you one more time. Times 3y times 4x times z. Okay. Now here in multiplication, there's no division here. What do? I'm just going back to multiplication. What do? We separate the numbers and then separate the numbers and separate the letters, right? So we can now underline it. Let's write all the numbers first. 3, 3, 4, no number. Okay, so it becomes a 3 times 3 times 4. Done with the numbers. Now time to separate the letters. X, Y, X and Z. Okay, so now we are going to write down this as X dot Y dot X dot Z. In between the letters put the dot, right? Means the same thing. Now 3 times 3, 9, 9 times 4, 36, right? Multiplied by, now X is how many times? Just check before you write down the letters, see how many times is X. X is 2 times. So you're going to add up the powers, x1, x1. So at x, 2. Now how many y's are there? Just 1, right? You can underline the y separately with another color. There's only y, and then search for another y. There's no y. Put it down, then there's one z, right? Dot z. So your answer now becomes 36 x squared, join them all, y, z. In multiplication, you have to at the end join all of them, right? Now, I think this is the last one that I should tell you. (32) p squared divided by 8p. Again, divided sign, right? So we are going to replace it with the division line. 32p squared divided by 8p, right? Now, first of all, see, are they all separated? Yes, the numbers are on one side, the letters are on one side. First of all, deal with the numbers. Divided by 8, so I get 8 ones are 8, 4s are, right? So 4. Now, time to split the letters. So 4p dot p, right? You can also put a 4 multiplied by, but it's the same thing, right? 4p means 4 multiplied by p over 1p. Correct? Now time to reduce the letters. We have done with the numbers. Now we are going to reduce the letters. 1p on top cancels out with 1p at the bottom. And what is left? 4p is left at the top. And you have 1 at the bottom. So 4 over 1 is 4. So you no need to write 1. So 4p is your answer. Simple. Right? Now if we have another question, I think I still have one more little bit time left, so let's turn to this and do the next one. Now practice all of these very carefully, keeping in mind what I've told you, how to solve, what things to take care of, okay, and then do the homework. This topic is best done with a lot of practice questions, examples. If you are done with your book questions or from inquiry, then you can also take some questions from some other book and do a lot of practice. This is best done with a lot of examples. So 8ab squared, division sign replaced by a division line, 16a squared b, right? First of all, we are going to, oops, I have written it already, but never mind. Okay. We are going to reduce the numbers. Again, 8 ones are 8 twos are. Alright, so it's 1 over 2. Why do I have such a big line? Because I know now I have to split up the letters. So A dot B dot B. I'm just splitting it up. How many A's at the bottom? A dot B, right? See, my line is a little shorter still. Okay, now time to reduce the letters. 1A cancels out with 1A. Any more A's? No more, so this is left. Now 1B cancels out with 1B. Any more to cancel out? No, so 1B is left. Now remember, 1B is at the top. Do not forget to circle it. Remember, when you have lots of letters, then you're going to miss out any one. So at the bottom you have 2A left. Don't change the places. So this is your answer. Okay, so now you have to practice them, do it very neatly, and of course send it along with your homework. Okay, and there was one question yesterday that I did, which in which I told you, I think on the stream I sent you that the answer is not 154, it is 144, right? It was this one. All right, I corrected it yesterday only. I sent a class comment if you had seen it. This is actually 72 twos are 144. All right, so please correct it, and I'm sure most of you have corrected it, thinking that it was a mistake. So it's actually 144AB. Right, 72 times 2 is 144. So please correct it in your yesterday's PQs. Okay, all right, then take care. I'll see you tomorrow with some more questions on multiplication and division. Take care. Goodbye.